The flight controllers in the Mission Control Center, MCC, read only what was on their computer screens and wouldn't have known where the data came from. Thus, it can be argued the MCC flight controllers could be fooled by simulated data.
These statements from Jay Windley and Robert Graenig are nothing short of astonishing, because this is exactly the scenario that Bill Kaysing discussed vividly in his book.
Astonishing? Not when you consider that these excerpts are Windley and Branig's restatement of a claim made by Bart Sibrel, not Kaysing, that the TETR-A satellite was used to relay simulated data to ground controllers, and this claim only accounts for telemetry data. There was also voice and TV communications during the live transmissions that could not be simply generated by a computer somewhere. If you look at the way Windley and Branig have laid out their websites, each section starts by stating a moon hoaxer's claim, in boldface, followed by a thorough debunking. In this case, Jarrah quotes the restatement of Sibrel's claim, then totally ignores the following rebuttal. By misrepresenting what Windley and Branig actually said, Jarrah has created a classic strawman fallacy. Sibrel's claim requires that the TETR-A satellite was still in orbit between 1969 and 1972 in order to be used on all the Apollo missions, but it fell to Earth on April 28, 1968, more than a year before the Apollo 11 launched. Did Sibrel discover that they faked TETR-A's re-entry? Was Sibrel somehow privy to inside information like Kaysing always claimed to be? No. He just made this stuff up. Let's call it a bare assertion fallacy. TETR-A was used to train MSFN dish operators on how to follow a satellite in Earth orbit. It circled the Earth every 92 minutes. The Moon takes close to a month to circle the Earth, so claiming that an operator wouldn't be able to tell whether he was following TETR-A around the Earth or a spacecraft on its way to the Moon is ludicrous. As for Jarrah's presentation of statements from Windley's website, I find it interesting that he chops the text from his website into two screens. Why do you think Jarrah did that? Well, if you put the two parts back together and compare what he shows in his video to the actual text at Windley's website, you see that Jarrah left out the first sentence of the second paragraph, which says, because of the design of the MSFN, a satellite was not required to train the MCC controllers. Windley is telling how simulations were easy to set up at MCC if you took the MSFN operators out of the picture. Of course, you'd only know what Windley was talking about if you include the second paragraph's main sentence. Can you say fallacy of omission? Can you say straw man? I can. I cannot help but believe that Jarrah intentionally discards the sentence about the MSFN operators that could not be fooled by signals coming from a satellite in low Earth orbit, such as the TETR-A satellite. So obviously this claim, as all Sibrel's claims, is absolute rubbish. Now pay careful attention to the audio in the next clip. When the camera pans from Section Chief Frank Burns' face to a picture of a radio antenna that he appears to be holding, you no longer see his mouth move, and the mic gain increases noticeably.
We're off to see Frank Byrne, the antenna man.
He must have gone back taking a nap.
Hi.
No, we just went ahead and ate, and he's probably 3 sheets to the wind.
Frank has tossed back a few drinks prior to my arrival.
I think you're going to want to talk to you too.
We tracked the first satellite in the world. We tracked the first everything that went to the moon, everywhere. This was one of the antennas that we received telemetry data from the spacecraft.
Yeah, you could, I guess you could simulate it, but it wasn't simulated. It was real life data.
Coming from the head guy at a radio tracking station, this is a very bold statement.
This is one of several character assassinations conducted by Aaron Rainin in his supposedly award-winning mockumentary, Did We Go? The fact that he obviously mucked with the audio and overdubbed Frank's words at one point, along with the fact that we didn't hear Rainin's actual lead-in question to Frank. It is clear that Frank was saying that the data fed to MCC could be simulated, which is consistent with the statement that Jarrah intentionally ignored on Jay Windley's website. Frank was obviously not talking about simulating data at the tracking station. This little excerpt combines the fallacies of poisoning the well with a straw man, misrepresenting Frank's words by outright tampering with the audio. If Jarrah or his moonhoax partner Aaron Rainin wanted to poison a well, An easier target would be someone like Bart Sibrel, who got fired as a cameraman from a Nashville TV station for stalking Neil Armstrong. He provoked Buzz Aldrin to punch him, and in one of his many encounters with the law, he damaged a woman's car because he wanted her parking space. His videos prove he's a charlatan, uneducated in science and mathematics, and totally unqualified to express an opinion on anything, least of all the Apollo missions. His only purpose in life is to suck money out of people who are stupid enough to buy his widely discredited moon hoax conspiracy theory videos, and Jarrah White sells his non-profit moon hoax videos on Sibrel's website. Enough said. So, at the end of the day, we find that although the MCC trained with simulated telemetry data, during the actual missions, the MSFN operators tracked the spacecraft on their lunar trajectory, a trajectory that could not be simulated by a satellite orbiting the Earth every 92 minutes. They received the actual telemetry along with voice and TV on the same carrier frequency, and they knowingly fed that data to the MCC. And once again, Jarrah muddles fact with fiction to suit his claims. Ciao, moon hoax conspirators, wherever you are.